Hello everyone, I'm Teal Jenkins with SkytTrax, and today I just wanted to take the opportunity to do a short tutorial on installing the brand new SkytTrax Phazer gearbox onto the two-cylinder Yamaha Phazer snowmobile engine. This engine is out of year models 2007 through 2018 Yamaha Phazers. They're a small, compact, four-stroke. Yamaha rates it at 80 horsepower. I think for our application, a solid 70, maybe 75 horsepower we can count on. If you're thinking about doing an engine swap or something for a 582, you're going to get a little bit more horsepower, but probably not a real good swap for like a 912 UL 80 horsepower, but it is lighter than the 912 UL. So anyways, this is the new gearbox. It's an integral gearbox, just like the Phazer or the Apex gearbox that we came out with. So that just means that basically the back, this cover, we remove this stock cover, and the back of the gearbox integrally fits onto the engine directly. So basically, this is the new gearbox. Go ahead and open it up here to give a good view of the gearing. So it's compound geared this time. So that allows us to basically, we can pick from 3 different ratios and just swap out this gear and this gear. And then we still have a sprag clutch between the 2 compound gears here. And then obviously then we have the drive gear from the engine. So let's get right into it. So I've already removed the perimeter fasteners off of the cover just to kind of make things go a little faster. You can leave the bearing retainer fasteners in if you want until you get the output shaft off. I've removed them. The output shaft is probably going to come out with it, but that's fine. But just be careful, because when you do remove the cover, if you do take out the bolts, the output shaft is free to fall out. Unlike the Apex, where the output shaft runs the water pump, there's no chain on this one like the Apex. So let's go ahead and remove the remaining fasteners here. To the drive, the output shaft is coming off with the shaft. So just be careful because it's loose now. So grab the output shaft with the cover. Now on the cover, there's 2 alignment dowel pins for the case cover. We're going to reuse those for the gearbox. So you could just a lot of times they'll stay in the case, but just take them out, put them back in the case if they come off with the cover. And obviously clean the surface on the case. I've been reusing this gasket over and over again because I've had the gearbox a number of times off. Surprisingly, even with the gearbox, the gasket in that condition, it still doesn't leak. But replace you should have a new kit in the kit. A new gasket will be included, so replace the cover gasket. And once you get the output shaft out, there's a lip seal right here that seals the engine side off from before. It was atmosphere, now it will be the gearbox. So you'll install in the kit will be a new lip seal, it'll be a Viton style lip seal, and we're gonna install this seal in reverse of what it is installed from the factory. So as you can see the lip, on it now, whereas before it's flipped over the other way. So we're gonna install the new seal in it, and then take the output shaft and go ahead and mount it to the back half of the gearbox. So as you can see, it's a tight fit in here. These bearing retainer fits inside here. So should snap right in. And then I'm just going to take a couple fasteners here and install this. I'm just running this down, but follow the torque instructions for torque on these 4 fasteners. I'm just putting 2 of them in here just to hold it right now, just so I can install this. So as you can see, the alignment dowels will fit in these holes. So come over here, and it really helps if it's kind of tough to install, to take a heat gun and warm up these 2 areas right here, because you can see on the back side there's 2 bearings. One of them supports the crank, the other supports the balancing shaft. So the inside the housing, they have an interference fit. So if you're working in a cold climate, or if the gearbox is, you know, under 80 degrees, these are going to be a tight fit onto these 2 shafts. So it helps to kind of warm it up a little bit. So install all of the original 6mm fasteners around the perimeter, and don't forget the inside of the gearbox. There's these 3 fasteners, one in the center of the idler shaft, one over here, which is the previous perimeter fasteners for the case. So don't forget those. And then we're going to install the output drive shaft gear. Just make sure that the gear itself is clean of any oil or debris, and then same thing with the output shaft, just clean it really good, and then apply some bearing retainer locking compound. I like to use a Loctite 620 or 640, basically any of the greens, and install the output shaft gear, and then the countersunk fastener for it in the kit. Now I'm just going to run this down just a little bit with the impact, and then torque this fastener to the torque that's called out in your instructions for the gearbox. And then we're ready. Once we get all those on there and torqued up, we're ready to install the front half of the gearbox. So the same way that we did with the back half, those few bearing bolts, we're going to take a heat gun and just kind of get these 2 bearing bores right here kind of warmed up, because these cylindrical rollers have an slight interference when the gearbox is cold with the bearing races that are on the shafts here. These 2 bearing races for the cylindrical roller bearing. It's a little bit of a tight fit, so if you take a heat gun and kind of warm up the housing a little bit, it makes it really easy to just slide right on. Make sure that the 2 alignment dowel pins for the case halves are in on each side of the gearbox still. They didn't fall off or something. There it is. And it's as simple as that. After installing the gearbox, I would give a good 24 hours for the Loctite to cure, and then it's got a sight glass on the front of it and a fill and vent. So you'll remove the fill vent port here, and when you're filling it, just to allow for air to come out here, and then bring the fluid to the top of the sight glass. And that basically covers the installation. In less than an hour, someone could basically remove their stock cover install this gear drive onto it and be ready to go with mounting a prop onto it if you already had obviously your exhaust and your air box and everything. But that concludes the video. I hope you guys liked it. And if you have any more questions on it, you can contact me at teal@SkytTraxUSA.com or go to our website, SkytTraxUSA.com. Thanks.